What inevitably comes up? Terror against us. If we bother to wonder about the violence that goes on within them, we lament the mutilation, the rape, and the child marriage. The crimes that those turbaned, bearded men commit against their women. If we bother to go any further, we wonder how we can empower those poor women, save them from those terrible men. The Quran is addressed almost exclusively to men. Even the verses that make demands of women often command men to tell their women about the commands. O ye men, tell thine women to do X, Y, Z. We leave the wondering about what those women think as, how could she believe in something so oppressive? She seems like such a smart, cool girl. Then go on to analyze the motives of the men who tell us that they act in Allah's name themselves, and attribute their actions to the economic, the societal, the privileged. Muslim women do believe it. Some believe in it all, fervently and wholly. That there are heavenly maidens that Allah has already predestined to marry their husbands after they both die. That these women are perfect as per the beauty myth circa 600 BC Arabia, eyes with dark pupils and clear whites, glowing with fairness of both kinds from their skin, and eternal virgins. That, like Aphrodite/Venus, they were created with the utmost in carnal knowledge, yet somehow paired with that ever-alluring, ever-renewing virginity so appealing to the patriarchal men. That when an earthly wife refuses or displeases her husband, those virgins scold them from up on high, reminding them that the man is only to stay with them temporarily. That if an earthly wife refuses sex with her husband, the angels curse her all night until the morning. That the al-ayn, the heavenly virgins, luminous and numerous like scattered pearls, are promised to their husbands. That the earthly wife has to be called by the husband to join him in heaven. That if the earthly wife isn't called, there's no promise of sex for her in heaven. What do Muslim women make of it? What do they make of how, when they get to heaven, they're supposed to be more beautiful there than even the harem of heavenly virgins that their husbands have, but they aren't guaranteed sex in heaven? What happens to a girl who dies pure, but still wanting it pretty fucking badly? In the Quran, she's revered only as a mother. Her seductiveness is so feared that she's hidden away like a pearl in an oyster to protect her from tempting those poor men. As decreed by words sent from up high, she's crooked like a rib and so much less intelligent than men. None of the commands or edicts are actually addressed to her, but they're still applied to her. She constantly needs guidance. She's deficient in faith, so she needs more rules to help her, the little emotional fool. She gives men no choice because her voice alone seduces them. She should stay mute as possible around them. We wouldn't want them to get crude and make lewd comments at her, would we? These degenerate modern times, so fraught with crimes against the weaker sex, her eyes are shielded from shameless things. She'll never be surprised by anything in this world. She's kept from the world. She's inept in the world. All that she's called to do in life, daughter, sister, then mother and wife. When I was a girl, that pure but wanting it oh so badly girl, I asked them what would happen if I died and still wanted, as I put it bashfully, a husband. The room in which I asked the question was filled with long-wed older women. The presiding matron looked at me, laughed, and said condescendingly, yet somehow still in a motherly way, that by the time I died, I would be tired of it. That I would welcome the break from it. The studious room broke into laughter, and I went home wondering if she had ever come before. Eternal celibacy just might be appealing if your husband can't make you come, but what if you want to? What about the women whose husbands forget to call out for them to join in with his heavenly harem to have sex up in paradise? Will he forget after we both are dead? Those heavenly pupils like yolks, like clearly delineated dark suns shining from white albumin that so strike the hearts of men, including mine, my man. He sees their perfect symmetry, their eternal virginity, and of course he forgets me, because how can I compare? And now I live in this land of paradise, a place without agony or sorrow. Today is as happy as yesterday. What's the point of tomorrow? If I were allowed to have one unhappy thought in this place, it would be envy. As it is, all I can do is wonder, how can they be better off than me if this is the best that could ever be? Heaven. Those virgins are made as maidens in waiting, for my man to die so he can come to you? What's that like? What's it like? I was made to wait for my man to die and leave you behind, to come to me because he actually belongs to me for all eternity. Instead of being happy that he'll have his reward in me, you call me a male fantasy? A clear marker of patriarchy? Listen, Allah made the universe a certain way. There are the sexless angels, slaves to his will, the animals who aren't smart enough to rebel, the trees that obey even as they sway in the breeze and recite his name. Then there are all the free-willed creatures, female and male jinn, men and women. You're one of those. Everything is Allah's will, right? If you didn't believe that, you wouldn't be here, and yet here you are. You had a lifetime with him on that earth. You could have made him want you to join in with us, but instead you refused him on occasion, and the angels cursed you all night. You could have possessed his body, the body I had to wait your whole mortal life for, but instead, after marrying the man I was created for, you said no, willful creature that you are. Still, in spite of all that, you made it here. You made it here, and all you can do is sigh about me? Your palace made of jewels and gold, your rivers of milk and honey and wine, your lovely serving boys, they're all yours. Muhammad got it right about women. Even when you have the best that could ever be in heaven, you're ungrateful. No wonder more of your kind burn in hell while their husbands frolic with my kind. We fulfill all that he could ever want. Yes, that thing. In there. Whenever he wants it. Even that other thing you don't know the name for. We aren't just fine with it. We were made for it. Instead of you having to disrupt your day in heaven, make your way out of your pretty palace, past all those handsome serving boys, crossing all those rivers of milk and wine and honey, and into this place to do what's so odious to you that you couldn't do back on earth, we got a handle for you. Instead of straying for what he wanted, he stayed with you for what he wanted, so that he could have it here with us, forever. He stayed true to you, so that he could have us. You worked so hard to entice him, to spice things up, to make it fresh, even when you could be never what he actually wanted, us. I don't even know why you tried. It was bad enough to have to compete with modern beauty ideals, limited as they are by reality and Photoshop. But to compete with heavenly sex bots? Seriously! Creatures whose alluring charms I heard described in the very verses I recited during my prayers. Prayers that were supposed to connect me 5 times a day to Allah, not connect me to my bodily insecurities. Denizens of paradise whose specific traits I had to know in detail in order to get that A+ in Islamic studies. Looking back, I don't even know why I tried. Well, actually, I know exactly why I tried. I'm just happy I don't have to fucking try anymore.